afternoon. This is Captain Zasky aboard the 77-foot sport fishing vessel Divine Intervention. This is a 2008 Scully Wanchese built boat in North Carolina. I'm here to talk to you today about the Arid Bilge system, why we selected it particularly for this boat. This is a 77-foot custom sport fishing boat, 80-foot overall. It's a big boat, so it requires a lot of AC, a lot of air conditioning for this boat. So it has two big chiller systems in this boat, which is necessary in order to get the temperatures you're looking for, keep the boss comfortable on the inside. The downfall of that is there are chiller pipes that run throughout this boat that sweat. Even with the 2-inch thick insulation around these pipes, they sweat, they create a lot of condensation, and all that water and condensation works down into the dark depths of the bilges in this boat, the way that they have the drainage in this boat. So I was adamant when the boss bought this boat 2 years ago that we find a system that would operate automatically and get these bilges and get the water out of the boat and keep it out of the boat. Keeps the inside of the boat smelling nice. There's many areas in this boat you can't get to on a daily maintenance routine. You know, there's plenty of other things to be doing, more important things to be doing than climbing in the bilges every other day, disinfecting and cleaning out water. So one of the other important reasons we wanted this bilge, this air dry bilge system put in the boat was, like I said, to keep those bilges clean. It's important for leak detection in the engine room. You know, like I said, this boat's so big, daily maintenance, you can't get into all the bilges. The smell in this boat when we got it was pretty horrific, quite a bit of mildew. We did a lot of mold remediation on this boat. We spent tens of thousands of dollars cleaning the bilges and finishing the bilges with all grip paint, things like that. One of the big retrofits on this boat is we put gyros in the back end of this boat in the lazarette, which was a black hole when we bought this boat. We put about $400,000 into that lazarette between the paint job, the sanding, the fairing, the fireboy, the two Mitsubishi gyros that we put in the boat, the AC, so we could not only manage the humidity but maintain an ambient temperature down there. So the air dry bilge system was a perfect complement to what we were trying to achieve in that lazarette. Watertight hatches, keeping the moisture out. We spent quite a bit of time and money and effort down on that lazarette. Arid dry bilge system really, like I said, complemented that by keeping the bilges perfectly dry. One of the other big components with this system was the eco oil alarm system on this boat, which will allow me to focus on other things while I'm running a boat, offshore fishing a tournament. If I have an oil leak or some sort of contamination leak, whether it be hydraulic oil, which we blew out a hose on the bow thruster, I was notified within minutes that I had a leak by that eco oil alarm system. So if I've got a diesel leak, an oil leak, a hydraulic leak, or any kind of contamination in any of the sections, the 8 sections where we have those pickups for the system, I'm notified within minutes by an audio alarm at my helm. So that, to me, is just invaluable. And the other big plus on that is nothing goes overboard. So if there is a leak all of a sudden, and I've got a huge diesel leak in the engine room, and that air dry eco oil system picks it up, I'll be notified, the system's shut down, we can take care of the leak before it ever makes it outside of the boat and into the ocean or the intercoastal or wherever it is we might be at the given time. We've had this boat now for 2 years. One of the reasons why I was adamant about having this air dry bilge system put in the boat is it's a big boat, first of all. It's got a lot of dark, hidden crevices in the boat, bilges that you can't really get to, and the boat is cooled by 2 chiller systems. So throughout this whole 80-foot boat are chiller pipes that sweat. So there's a lot of condensation. It's a not exactly an efficient system to cool the boat, but for a yacht this size, in order to get the air conditioning, the BCUs and everything that you need, the BTUs that you need, you got to have that chiller system. The downfall of that is you have a lot of sweaty pipes that run through this boat. It puts a lot of extra condensation water down into the bilges at places you can't really get to. So my initial investigation into bilge drying systems led me here to the air dry bilge system. We talked to the boys and laid out a pretty good plan of how we were going to install it and where we were going to install it. Most important, as you know as well as I do, these boats can hide water on you and have wet spots that you just can't get to on a normal daily maintenance type routine. So we put in, I believe, 8 pickups, 8 sections in this boat. They're automatically picked up and dried out by this system. So one of the major problems we had with this boat when we bought it, one of the big discoveries was, as I had stated earlier, this boat has chiller pipes that run throughout the boat for the ACs, and they sweat. What we discovered was these lights, there's chiller pipes that run through the ceiling, and they sweat terribly, especially when that salon door is open. What we found was we had these lights were filling with water. There was no drip pan, nothing to stop that water or pick that water up or even to get that water to shed off of this cathedral ceiling. So what we did is we custom made a drip pan to catch all that condensation from those chiller pipes, and we put one of the pickup hoses and one of the pickups in that pan up in the ceiling there from the air dry bilge system. And what that does is that keeps this whole area, when we opened this up, it was black and wet in the ceiling. So once we custom built that pan and put that air dry build system in there, it's bone dry. You could open this up in here, it's dry, it's beautiful, you can work with it, keeps the smell down because it's nice and dry. There's no other way really that we could have achieved what we were looking to do to stop all this damage that was being done up here without that air dry build system. That pickup in here was just absolutely necessary, and it still works fantastic. So that was a really big asset there, being able to put that pickup. We are in the machine room aboard the 77 sport fishing vessel Divine Intervention. This is where kind of the brains of the air dry build system is. It was a great location to put it. We have plenty of room down here. As you can hear, it's just kicking on now. Here is your central vacuum system here. All the 7 pickups throughout the boat are picked up from here and then discharged into the eco-friendly box. And this is basically a contamination box, a contamination and clean water separating box, the way it works. Everything gets dumped into here and gets separated. The water, the way that they have this set up with the technology, water then gets separated out, goes into a sump box, and the clean water gets put overboard. Any of the contaminants that you might pick up at any of the 7 locations in the boat will get deposited into this eco-friendly box. Once they get to a certain level, it will set off the sensor that is right about at this level here, and it'll shut the whole system down. So once that contamination makes contact with the sensor, the whole system will get shut down, and you'll get an audio alarm at the helm. At that point, obviously, you're notified that you have a problem, the whole system gets shut down, and you can go fix the problem before anything goes overboard. Not a single drop, which is really invaluable. For the cost of the system and the efficiency of the system, if you didn't have it and you got caught discharging diesel, hydraulic fluid, or anything overboard these days, I don't even want to begin to imagine what the fines would be like. And of course, you don't want to put that stuff in the water anyway. But the system is very efficient. You can hear it running right now. It's picking up from, looks like the forward machine room. This room, when we bought the boat, was very dirty, had a lot of mold. All these chill pipes you see on the ceiling were moldy. The stagnant air down here stunk to high heaven. But as you can see now, I mean, you could almost make a cruise quarter out of this area now. It's very clean, smells wonderful, it's dry. It's an amazing system.